Hi.
Hi. We're out of the closet.
We have ventured out of our bedroom closet. Yeah. We are here in beautiful Outlook, Saskatchewan, with a fairly ominous looking thunderhead behind us, so we may end up getting rained out. We'll see what happens.
New backdrop, new me.
Yes, welcome to the next episode of the BRIO in the Box podcast.
Yes.
BRIO Outside the Box podcast today.
And this is very fitting because today we are talking about what to do when you go on holiday. Right?
So our last episode, we talked about routine habits that you can add in for your day-to-day. Today, we thought the appropriate follow-up was what to do when you're out of your routine, like we are right now.
You're away.
How to keep it from going totally off the rails.
Yeah.
You built up some good momentum. You've been working out. You've been eating well. You've been sleeping well. And then you go on holidays. And then oftentimes you fall right off the wagon. Yeah. And it's much harder to get back on.
And such a common thing that we hear when people come back from holidays is they're like, oh, man, I haven't worked out in like 2 weeks. This is going to be so rough. So the first thing we're going to talk about is maintaining some sort of fitness routine.
Yeah, keeping the fitness on track. So you're the guy that does the programming.
Yeah.
What are some ideas for workouts that you could do away from the gym?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons and tons of options. So today I worked out, you worked out. We are lucky enough that we brought a couple of dumbbells with us. But there are a ton of things you can do with no equipment, you know, air squats, lunges, sit-ups if you have somewhere, you know, like a towel or something.
Roll up your beach towel?
Sure. Put down a blanket or something. You can do push-ups, burpees. Some people will bring a skipping rope with them. But then the other thing you can do is use the environment around you, right? Today, you guys were doing box jumps on the picnic table that we have in our campsite.
Atlas and I did a workout this morning.
Yeah.
Threw in some box jumps on the picnic table. Nearly tipped it over.
Yeah.
But we managed not to.
That's fine. That's fine.
You did a workout this morning.
I did, yeah. I did thrusters, and then I ran over to the playground and did pull-ups, and then ran back and did more thrusters and did 5 rounds of that. There's tons of stuff you can do. The important thing is just you have to be like, okay, I'm just going to do it, because the hardest part is getting started. And especially when you're in vacation mode, you just want to like chill, right? But if you can just give yourself, okay, I'm going to take 15, 20 minutes out of my day, and I'm just going to like keep with the routine. Mm-hmm. So my workout today, I did 5 rounds of this workout. It was super hard, and it took me just under 12 minutes. So even with getting like a bit of a warm up, it's 20 minutes out of your day. You know, it's not like you have to drive somewhere and go to an hour-long class and drive back. Like, give yourself a short amount of time and just be like, I'm going to do something. Make it less about a score or a number and more just about being active, you know, like
staying on track of it.
Yeah, keeping that, you know, fitness in the back of your mind so that when you come back to the gym, it's not such a kick in the teeth.
And I feel like if you keep up some volume of those things like push-ups and air squats and lunges, then when you come back to the gym, you're not like, oh my God, I haven't done anything in 2 weeks. My legs are so sore. You just like, you keep up that conditioning to the volume of those things that tend to really kick you in the butt when you haven't done them in a while.
For sure.
We talked about in the episode on programming about a little bit about how to like put a workout together yourself so you don't end up like doing something way too big or way too long or way too much volume.
Yeah.
Right. So we kind of said in general, you know, squats, 200-ish is a lot of air squats. Same thing with lunges. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Push-ups, we tend to stay in the 100-ish range. Like we do Murph once a year that has 200 push-ups. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Sit-ups, you generally don't want to go over about 100, maybe 150 like Annie, right? Or you start to get the real sore raspberry on your butt.
Yeah.
Keep things like that in mind as you're building a workout.
Yeah.
I would probably mostly just make it an AMRAP.
For sure.
And like lowered expectations is fine. 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20. We had said in the programming episode, if you're going to do a bit of a longer thing, make sure you're mixing in, you know, maybe a 400-meter run. Like we could go down to the end of the campsite and back. Just you're not ending up doing like accidentally giving yourself 1,000 air squats or something.
Something else that we like to do when we go up and visit Ryan and Jasmine at Three Lakes is we'll do swimming stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll on the dock, we'll, you know, swim out to a buoy or whatever, and then we'll swim back in and we'll do some push-ups or some burpees on the dock or whatever. And like, it doesn't have to be a typical CrossFit thing. It can be anything, you know, just keeping the physical, you know, thing in the back of your mind and keeping a little bit of volume. Yeah,
get a bit creative. Take advantage of your surroundings wherever you are. Here in Outlook, there's the Trans-Canada Trail goes through here. So we hiked part of the trail this morning with the kids.
Yeah.
There's a good little hill climb in there, you know, just being active and make it was a less intense things. We had the kids with us and enjoyed the view.
Yeah.
But we're like out and about. You could swim. There's a decent hill that goes down to the beach. We could do some hill runs. You kind of look at your environment, and maybe you have a paddle board, maybe you have a kayak, and you want to make like a paddling workout out of it. Yeah. Those things are pretty fun to take advantage of your surroundings.
Let's say you're here for a week. Try to get in at least 3 to maybe 5 actual workouts. And then during the day, just get up and move, right? You can be active in all the different ways. You can, even water skiing and stuff, like all that kind of stuff. That's being active. Paddleboarding, hiking, walking around.
Biking.
If you just sit and drink all day long, that's when you're going to run into trouble. And we'll talk about alcohol later. But as far as being active, try to move around for a lot of your day and just, move.
I feel like timing wise, I'm not a morning workout person, but I'm most likely to get it done in the morning, especially in the summer when it's going to be hot later in the day. If you're on holidays or, camping or at the lake with people that aren't into fitness, other activities are going to come up later in the day. Chances are that are going to take you away from your opportunity to work out. So it's probably, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen earlier in the morning.
And heat too. It often gets hot, especially if you're on a summer trip, by mid-afternoon, if it's 35, you're like not going to work out.
It's really easy to talk yourself out of it when it's too hot.
Something else we should touch on that we do for our members is we have a bunch of extra dumbbells and stuff in our sea cans. So if one of our members is going away and they want to borrow something, we just let them take a dumbbell with them. We have some that we just keep in our camper all the time, so they're ready to go. But I remember like one time on our honeymoon, we were in Maui, and there was like a big log in the yard of the little cottage thing we were staying at. And we did a workout with that. We were like,
kind of like log thrusters.
Yeah, it was hilarious and it was silly, but it was super fun.
It was fun to just be active. On our wedding day, do you remember this?
Wedding day,
we did a workout where we did like partner carries back and forth. So like I carried you on my back and like sort of ran a certain distance and then did some squats with you. And then we switched and you did the other one because we thought it was appropriate on our wedding day to carry each other. It was pretty funny.
It was hilarious.
And then again, it's not like for time. It was just like, just to move around. And
just to say we could do it on a podcast a few years later.
A lot of years later.
A lot of years later.
13, okay, 14. So movements you can do with no equipment. Push-ups, air squats, lunges, sit-ups, push-ups. Did I say that already?
I think so.
Planks, burpees, run,
swim, jump.
Like jumping jacks.
Bear
hey,
crawl.
There's nothing wrong
1
with
mile bear crawl.
It's like, I'm going to be honest, I'm not bear crawling on the gravel in our campsite right now. Handstand push-ups, maybe. Throw a towel under your head if you have...
Freestanding handstands.
Freestanding handstands. There we go.
You can do wall walks up a tree.
Maybe we'll try to get a video of that later. And then, take advantage of your surroundings, whatever you have with you.
Just have fun with it. Keep it part of your routine.
So a little bit of the fitness is going to help you keep the routine. It's going to make it easier to get back in the gym, and you won't be sore as shit when you get back on the wagon. The thing that's really going to make or break the holiday is the food.
Yeah.
How far off track of your normal eating habits you get with your dietary habits while you're on holiday. So how can we keep it together a bit while still enjoying life? I would still try to make protein your first meal of the day. Start with protein. If you can have like eggs, bacon and eggs, meat and eggs, something like that, like try to make, at least keep breakfast together and try to, I usually say delay it as long in the morning as you can. So if you can throw a little bit of a fasting window in there, delay it a bit in the morning, start with protein. That's going to help a lot. Whatever treats you do decide to add on to your trip, try to keep the vegetable oils, the seed oils out of it. So I'll be honest, we have some potato chips in the camper right now. We always buy the hard bite avocado oil ones. So instead of the Miss Vicky's that are fried in safflower oil or canola oil or whatever, you just switch which ones you buy. The kids like them. I don't mind them. If I'm going to have something, that's what I'm going to have. You want to buy a bag of popcorn. Look for the one popped in coconut oil. There's quite a number of options. Popped in coconut oil, not the seed oils. I found some tortilla chips also fried in coconut oil instead of the seed oil. So there's lots of options out there if you still want to have some of those little treat things.
I think another thing to remember is if you bring it, you're going to eat it, right? So like try to minimize the damage of the stuff you are going to bring. but try not to go crazy, right? If you wake up and the first thing you're doing in the morning is eat chips and
donuts or
stuff,
whatever,
it's like your whole day is just wrecked after that, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, try to do a bit of a fast in the morning, which is what we always do.
Protein first.
Protein for your first lunch, whatever meal, and then wait until kind of like after you've worked out and later in the day, then you can start to have a little bit more of the stuff that you don't necessarily have all the time.
If you can be a bit prepared, you know, maybe you want to bring cookies, but you make them yourself and
Yeah.
you make them with real butter and maybe a little less sugar.
Yeah.
We, the kids love, and I love that I make Freezies out of the Element
Yep.
electrolyte supplement. So we blend half a cup of frozen fruit with one element. We split it up into the little freezy molds. I just buy them on Amazon. Like a pack of 100 is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit of work, but you make them ahead of time. We love them. They're super tasty, super refreshing.
Yeah.
And they're like 2 grams of carbs from the fruit rather than like 26 grams of carbs in a big sugary blue dye Mr. Freezy. Right?
The funny thing about like camping especially is you have to sort of meal plan and meal prep anyways.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to think ahead and be like, what are we going to eat on these days? So you can put a little bit of thought into keeping it moderately healthy at least to minimize the damage.
Yeah. And then if you do, you know, say you make s'mores over the campfire or you go for ice cream, a great way to manage your blood sugar is to just go for a walk after.
Yeah.
And if it's a beautiful evening, head outside, enjoy your surroundings, just go for a walk. That does a huge service to managing your blood glucose when you have had something sugary. That's something that I had the participants in my glucose group back in March experiment with. Was they repeated a high carb meal that they'd had from one of the previous weeks, but just went for a walk after, and you can clearly see the difference in the peak and the spike and crash of the blood sugar versus like a nice steady flow. So another thumbs up for just generally being outside and being more active.
Yeah.
So keep the diet together as best you can. Enjoy some treats, but there are some ways to like minimize the damage.
And the best way to do it is if you can like be like, okay, like whatever day is going to be our sort of like go for it day, you know, that's when you have the things that you really want to have, like the s'mores or the burgers or whatever that you wouldn't otherwise have. Try to just have one day that's all out instead of every day being all out. That's much better.
Yeah, just put a little bit of discipline around it. And then I feel like you're like, okay, it's not that you can't have those things.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just going to make sure I ate protein first.
Yep.
I worked out that day. I'm going to enjoy the heck out of whatever the treat was and then go for a walk after.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you can still have those things. You just put a little bit of discipline around them.
For sure.
And then,
It's just trying to minimize the damage.
basically. And like you already mentioned, the other big factor that goes into holiday time is the drinking.
Booze.
Booze.
So when we first started camping, Jocelyn had a real hard time figuring out what do you do when you're camping? Because it seems like everybody just sits around and drinks all day long.
Well, okay, so I'm like a city girl. I didn't grow up camping. All this stuff is new to me. We just bought our camper. Like, this is our second full season with it. And so I was just like, okay, so what is camping about? I remember walking around the first campsite we were in with you and being like, what do people do all day when they're camping? And David goes, they drink. And I was like, oh, camping is a drinking event. I get it.
Yes.
Which it is very much for some people.
Yeah.
We're not daily drinkers.
No.
But we have, like we said, we found lots of other activities and things to keep us busy and ways to enjoy camping without just sitting around and drinking all
I'm
day.
currently sipping on a bubbly
Water. Real hardcore bubbles. So from worst to least damaging, the worst drinking options are the real sugary beverages like the Mike's Hard Lemonade and like the Smirnoff Ice, where they're just, not only are you going to have a bit of an alcohol hangover, but you're also going to have a big sugar hangover. So,
and when we go to places like Maui and they do the like Mai
tropical
Tais and
cocktails,
the what's it called,
lava flows, pina coladas.
And last year was the first year we let our kids try a lava flow, and
their eyes were like,
they talked about it for like, next time we go to Maui, we should do like lava flows again. Like,
like little crackheads. It's the first time they got drugs, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, try to avoid the really sugary cocktails.
Yeah.
Next worst, I'm sorry to tell you, this
Bad
is
news,
beer.
guys.
It's
Beer.
What makes beer particularly fattening is as you break down the yeast in the beer, the purines turn to uric acid. Uric acid is a evolutionary signal that it's time to get fat. It's time to gain weight. So the beer belly is not an old wives' tale. That's a real thing. Beer is uniquely fattening and uniquely makes you pack fat around your organs because of the uric acid load.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, try to cool it with the multiple beers.
Yeah.
Next best choice would probably be wine.
Yeah.
If you make a you can, like a white wine spritzer, you add a little bit of soda water in it, or, make it a more cool and refreshing kind of beverage. Maybe cut down the percentage of alcohol in it in that kind of way.
There's no fun in that.
I like a good spritzer. It makes it like a little bubbly and nice and refreshing, ice cold on a hot day like this. Probably your best bet if you're really interested in minimizing the damage is going to be like a vodka soda type thing. The clear liquors, a bubbly water, a little bit of flavor. There's tons of different brands that make those now. And they're like usually about 100 calories each, which is purely the calories from the ethanol, the alcohol itself. Which ethanol is a type of carbohydrate, but it's uniquely dense, and then it's 7 calories per gram, where normal carbohydrates like glucose and fructose, like sugar, is 4 calories per gram. So,
and your body will also have to deal with the alcohol before it can deal with the other calories that have come in, right?
Ethanol has to get cleared out of the bloodstream first. Your body metabolizes that above all else because it has to get rid of it. So before you can burn any other sugar or fat or anything else, your body will prioritize the alcohol.
Yeah. So if you get up in the morning and immediately start with the Caesars and then move to the beers and then continue on with the cocktails in the evening, the whole day you're basically just digesting, like trying to process the alcohol, and then all the food you're consuming is just going straight into fat storage. Is that accurate?
Yeah, because it has to be. Your liver is prioritizing getting rid of the ethanol.
So when you go to Mexico to the all-inclusive for 2 weeks and you put on 14 pounds...
That's how.
That's what's going on.
Margaritas full of sugar, the buffets full of seed oils. Yeah. That's how it gets so far off the rails, for sure. A big part of minimizing the damage is staying hydrated, especially if you're out in the heat. So at least be like alternating like water and alcoholic beverage, or if you're doing like a vodka soda type thing, it has lots of water in it.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge drinker, but one thing I'm a big fan of, we got into this last summer, was making margaritas with the element.
Yeah.
So again, sparkling water, the mango chili element with, a couple ounces of tequila and an ounce of triple sec. Awesome. Yeah. And then we found that nowhere near as much hangover the next day because we were keeping the electrolytes up. That's often the big problem when you're drinking and excreting all the, peeing a lot because you're drinking a lot and your body's trying to get rid of all that, but then you're also losing electrolytes. So stay on top of hydration, not just with water, but also with salt. And that will help you feel better the next day, not end up in like a heat stroke kind of position where you'll feel better the next day.
Right.
Something else that can help if you have had more than you should have, that can help with a potential hangover is what?
I don't know what you're going here with.
Oh, NAC.
Oh, we're going there. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a supplement called N-acetylcysteine.
Yeah.
That is your precursor to glutathione, which is your body's primary antioxidant. So when your liver is trying to deal with all these toxic aldehyde byproducts as a result of ethanol metabolism, you need a ton of antioxidants to deal with all this oxidative stress. So it depletes your internal supply. So if you take NAC and acetylcysteine, it actually really does help blunt the hangover and blunt the oxidative damage to all your cells in your body and your brain and that kind of thing. So
yeah, it's a super powerful antioxidant. We take it every day, pretty much, not because we're drinkers, because it's like there's been a ton of studies that show a lot of benefit from it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. NAC. So NAC is a good one. You can we just order it on Amazon.
Yeah.
You can probably, I'm trying to think if you can buy it. I'm honestly so lazy. I always just order stuff.
I think you can buy it in health stores.
Yeah, probably.
But definitely on Amazon and the interwebs, you can get it. Okay, so to minimize the damage, major things: be active through the day. Try to get a workout in 3 to 5 times a week, right? Body weight exercises are fine. Don't worry about scores. Don't worry about PRing anything. Just like keep your body in the frame of mind of like, I'm working out. Try to do it earlier in the morning. Get it out of your way so you can do whatever you need to with the rest of your day. Move around after your meals. Just try to stay active.
Yeah. Keep your nutrition somewhat on track. Keep your fasting window. Protein with your first meal of the day. Put some discipline around whatever treats you are going to indulge in, where keep it later in the day after you've worked out, after you've had your protein meal, and go for a walk after you have whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever, sort of treats and snack foods and things you want to have, try to keep the seed oils entirely out of it. Choose the, avocado oil chips or the coconut oil ones, that kind of stuff that has the healthier fats to it.
Make your own goodies ahead of time.
Make goodies ahead of time.
Margarine, butter, real ingredients.
Yeah, use real ingredients. You can make all kinds of refreshing treats. Like I said, we make Element popsicles, Element, Freezies, that kind of stuff. When it comes to drinking, avoid the sugary beverages, cool it with the beers.
Yeah.
A little bit of wine. Try not to overdo it there. Best bet would be to stick with your clear liquors and lots of water. Stay on top of your hydration with water and electrolytes.
Try not to drink all day, every day. Like I had a couple of beers last night, so it's not that you can never have a beer.
Yeah.
It's just that I had 2 last night, and now I'm drinking bubbles. You know, it's not a.
And try to stop drinking a couple hours before bedtime. You had a couple of beers, you know, kind of earlier in the evening. Then we had dinner. Then we went for a walk. Alcohol will greatly disrupt your sleep as well, which also makes it hard to make good decisions the next day. So really try to put some discipline around the drinking as well.
There you go.
Okay.
And that way you won't come back to the gym being like, I'm going to die. You're going to be like, I'm ready. I got this.
Be like, this is not the worst. That's the plan. Not the worst.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you in the next one.